Howdy ho and welcome. In the past 2 years, at least 57 people have died in more than 4 dozen crashes involving federally regulated carriers shipping for Amazon. If you're like me, you ask the question, do you find this Amazon or amazing? All kidding aside, when is major media going to actually start asking the right question? Never mind. I'm going to start. Let's talk today about a way to make trucking great again, shall we? Welcome to yet another grand episode. Stop it. Don't miss what. Welcome to yet another grand episode of Truckin' Frontlines, what I call the best call-in talk show coming to you from deep outside of my comfort zone. That's right. I'm not in the mobile studio, but fear not, people. It's coming back soon. Talking to you with a skill granted by God himself, giving you the ability to understand that there's always a way to make trucking great again. I've been reviewing a couple of these stories and I've been looking at the data, and what I've found is nothing short of shocking. The numbers paint a disturbing picture of safety standards. What I'm going to show you tonight is going to be basically aimed at Jeff Bezos' main baby. We're talking about Amazon, but it's not strictly on them. Or is it? You make the call and you tell me in the comments, is this Amazon's problem or is there something else afoot here that we need to pay attention to? Amazon has a habit of contracting out work they can't handle. And it's been a little bit of a contentious issue. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about that. I've got 2 different news segments and 2 different ways to look at it. And when we look at the human cost, that's what really bothers me. So I want you to put in the comments below if you think with either of these stories, if there's more that can be done when it comes to delivering packages, LTL freight, and the use of subcontractors, because that's what we're looking at. Today's day and age with the use of subcontractors, we're looking at a problem that if it's not addressed correctly, it will make trucking bad again. So why don't we take this issue right where it belongs and bring it to the front lines?
From Truckin City Central Command, you are on the front lines. Truckin News.
The semi-truck driver accused of causing that deadly crash on Highway 285 this week now under arrest.
Cutting edge opinion.
And we will make trucking great again.
Built for truckers.
You should be hauling that freight based on what works for you.
By truckers.
Remember, get them done.
Featuring.
I think trucking is a very good career.
And I am gonna beat them.
I'm gonna beat him too.
We don't do it just for us and our families. We do it for you guys.
Remember, truckers are people too.
Hosted by the El-Rushbo of Truckin News, Boss Man.
That's right, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, 860-785-3547. You are talking to the CIC of the United States of Truckin'. Normally behind the golden TIB microphone, but talking to you today from a very basic setup. You can't kill a good live show, my friends. If you come up with an idea for a news story you would like talked about or you think is not correctly covered in the mainstream media, please do me a favor. Send us an email at thatstruckinnews@outlook.com. Thatstruckinnews@outlook.com. Give us a call here tonight at our studio line, 860-785-3547. It is you guys in the audience that help make the movement of starting and stopping every day with the attitude of making trucking great again. And without you, this show takes a very slow approach. We want to get to the truth in broadcasting. So I welcome you all aboard. I want to welcome some of our normal everyday listeners and watchers of the show. It is abundantly obvious that without you guys involved, this show takes on a whole different meaning. So we got Shannon Thomas Trucking in the house. Good evening to you. I'm glad you were able to join us. If you'd like, look at the chat. You'll see a link, a StreamYard link. If you want to become part of the panel and come up here and talk directly one-on-one with me and others in the panel, so be it. Click that StreamYard link, get authenticated, and welcome aboard. Another good one, Jerry Rigsit. Howdy. Welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Tolga, that's a face I haven't seen in a while. Welcome. Oi to you, my friends. Thank you for the Legends acknowledgement. Come on, keep coming back there, my friends. Don't be scared. I want to acknowledge some other people that are frequently out. Griff, Cheap Freight Hauler. You guys, you're all regular members and regular watchers of the show. So for that, I'm grateful. When it comes to delivering packages, when you order a package from Amazon and then it's shipped, most of us assume it's done by the company itself. Now, those of you in trucking, you know darn well that's not the case. They use something called general contractors. Sadly, some find out the hard way that it's not what the average person thinks. An example of this is what's going on in this little news clip I want to play for you. It kind of gives you an idea of some of the difficulties some of these subcontractors, when they sign up for, they don't know it's going to hit them. So check this out.
Couple is furious with Amazon after a delivery driver slammed into their carport. Oof.
Okay, so video shows the truck causing serious damage, but would you believe Amazon rejected the couple's insurance claim for repairs?
Driver admitted to police that she was distracted. You think? When the towing company arrived, they realized that the only way out was the way the truck came in. Look at this. So they let the air out of the tires to gain clearance. How'd that go? Not so good. The couple says the estimated repairs are over $30,000, but even with the overwhelming evidence, Amazon rejected the claim because it did not make the delivery. In fact, Amazon doesn't own any of the delivery trucks that come to your door.
That is amazing right there. They simplify their operation and they hire out subcontractors. But, you know, in this clip, we saw that was delivery drivers, local folks, okay? But the same is true of big freight, too. You put these 53-foot trailers out all over the place. Do you think Amazon owns those rigs driving those trailers around? No, they don't. They utilize subcontractors. And this is but an example of the lightest of problems that Amazon has with the segment of transportation. To run shipping more effectively, they run what's called the subcontractors. And recently, some news has came to light that will shock most of you. We have an absolutely gut-wrenching and deeply troubling story that deserves your attention. So sit down for a minute and take a listen to this, okay? Picture this. You're at home. You're an older woman. You have a son that left for work today, or a daughter, or whatever the case is. You're winding down your day and you're expecting that son or daughter to come home. But instead of seeing them walk through the door, you get a knock on the door that completely throws you for a loop. On the other side of that door is an officer. And where that officer is there to deliver some really bad news to you. Your child, your pride and joy, has just suffered an untimely death in an accident. Okay, because of somebody who completely ignored safety. And that's exactly what happened to Trulia Velez, all right? The mother of a 19-year-old named Ilana Velez, college freshman, working her way through her life. was working at a local Amazon fulfillment center and was on their way to work. All right. Grinding it out, working night shifts. And she was on her way. And let me catch up here. On January 3rd, 2022, her life was cut short on a Texas highway because a contractor driving to pick up an Amazon load ran her off the road. Okay. The truck sent her car rolling multiple times and she died at the scene. Okay. Now hold on to your hats, folks, because this isn't the worst of the story. Here's where it gets really interesting. The contractor, a man by the name of Jordan Senicolo, wasn't just some guy with a clean slate who just decided to hire on with another company. No, he made a tragic mistake. This man had a rap sheet longer than my right arm, and it would make your head spin. Traffic violations, suspended license, outstanding felony warrants, including evading arrest with a vehicle. And if that's not enough to make your blood boil, he was using a cell phone while he was driving at the moment the crash occurred. Let me say that again. He was on his phone when the crash occurred. Now, one obvious and glaring question, and tell me in the comments if this pisses you off as much as it does me. Why is it that no one else seems to want to ask the obvious question? How on earth does someone like this get behind the wheel of a tractor trailer for one of the largest companies in the world? I can tell you exactly how. It was told in this news story that this man actually applied to Amazon to become a direct contractor and was denied. He was told, nope, can't have you. Why? Because they did a proper background check on him. They figured out he was a risk and they said no. However, he goes to a third-party carrier. I'd like to tell you who it is, but I'll keep the name of the third-party carrier out. However, that third-party carrier did not vet him, not one single bit. And he wound up driving for them. During the time he drove for them, amassed more than 70 alerts to different violations: speeding, reckless driving, hard braking, you name it. You know those pesky alerts that somehow get blasted out using the safety devices in your truck and all these things. You know, they had these things, but they ignored them. When did it matter? It mattered when he killed someone. So here's my second question. Why does it take a death to spur someone to action? Why not get the straightened arrow approach to begin with? Keep these people off the road. If you ask me, had the right thing been done, Alanya Velez would still be alive. And there is a lawsuit going on, I'm sure, which is probably why most of the story is being brought to light. But let's first get some of the responses from the panel, and then I would like to hear what you and the audience have to say. So, I mean, let me ask you this, Grumpy, if you can. What is your take on this very situation we're talking about? You go directly to a company, you get denied for whatever safety reason, and then all of a sudden you go behind the scenes, you find someone else subcontracted to them and get the green light. What does that tell you?
Well, I'll be honest with you. It tells me that that company's really not caring too awfully much. Yeah. It's pushing the issue of, oh, we want you to do it this way, but then behind the scenes they're doing else, and it's not right. And whenever you do the wrong thing, when you're telling everybody to do the right thing,
right?
Why?
I mean, in your mind, wouldn't it be reasonable to expect that if Amazon directly, as a general contractor in that response, if they said no to someone, wouldn't it make sense to you that any subcontractor for the same outfit or looking to work for the same outfit would get that same response? There's clearly a huge crack somewhere.
Well, I mean, as you were saying, that the vetting system on what they have there is kind of just outrageously crazy because, I mean, here they are running trucks that have their name all over them, yet they don't want to take responsibility for them. So why slap your logo on something if you're not going to be responsible for it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, just think about it. Think about the potential for there being, I mean, think about it. I mean, there's thousands of subcontractors that use, you know, their MCs, their carrier numbers, and they work for Amazon. And I mean, I pick on Amazon because that's the story, but the same could be true of UPS. The same could be true of FedEx. I don't know this to be true. It's my opinion only. So don't fire back at me. But the same could be true of any major carrier or any major shipper like Amazon. So, you know, what I'd like to do, and if you know in the audience, put in the comments, I'm going to go through them here in a second. If you think of a way in which to ferret that out or figure that out, I mean, I'd like to know, because I've been hired by carriers and I know what most small carriers do to vet whether or not you can even drive. The first thing they look at is your MVR. That's the first thing they look at. You know, so my question is, if this guy had his rap sheet, how did this other subcontractor just get away with it? I mean, it's stupid, and it costs someone their life, unfortunately. So, I mean, I don't know. It bothers me, which is the whole reason I'm putting it up and putting it up for discussion.
Well, I'm just kind of curious, was this driver that done this, was he self-insured on his own and then contracted under him, or was he driving for someone that had the insurance?
Best I can gather from the info in the story, I mean, if somebody knows different, let me know, but best I can gather is he was not self-insured. And there's no way you can get self-insured with a felony, so that's just not going to happen. So, you know, that option's out. Obviously, he had to be carried under that subcontractor's insurance, which Lord only knows if they even had any. I mean, you know, again, I'm not releasing the name. It's clearly in the article. Link down below. Find out for yourself if you want, but I'm not going to make public information I'm not certainly 100% sure of. So, you know, but you know, that's what bothers me. You know, if you have such a problem with an MVR and your background, you know, as in this fella, how you even get insured is beyond me, but people seem to get away with it. So, got two more panelists I'm going to bring on. So let's get their take on this. Thumper, if you're ready to go, I want to ask you, you know, as a small carrier, my friend, you have issues when it comes to insurance. I'm sure no different than everybody else out there that's a 10 truck or less carrier. How does this story make you think of the insurance process you go through, and does it actually make you ask questions? All right. Well, maybe he's at a point where he can't say anything, so we'll come back to him. Let's get your take on this, Poet. What's your thought on insurance? I know it may be a little different where you're at, but I mean, good Lord, you know, we either do it one way, which is the right way, or we don't do it.
Well, first of all, don't forget that I'm on the other side of the border. So I can
not entirely different in the insurance game, I hope.
No, but I can only give you the Canadian perspective, okay? Right now, okay, so my wife is a fully certified Red Seal safety consultant. Mm-hmm. Oil patch, construction, you name it. Mm-hmm. And trust me, when she slaps my wrist with a 2x4.
Oh boy. One thing to get hit with a yardstick, but a 2x4? Wow.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah, I'm picking on it.
The whole thing that I see up here, and Amazon up here, is no different than Amazon south of the 49th parallel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they talk safety, but in all reality, they are only promoting the appearance of safety.
Mm-hmm. Okay? Yeah, it is. Unfortunately,
it is. You know, it's we want the public to see that we're being safe. That's the appearance. But when
Yeah.
it gets right down to it,
We just seen
I
what
don't
happened.
think so.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Exactly.
mean, what you saw on the screen was an example of but what just happens with regular delivery drivers. But the thing I brought that up for, and the reason I brought that up is because they quite honestly treat delivery drivers and subcontractors for the shipping side the same. You know, because I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of those small prime or what do they call those? Little vans or whatever. A lot of them getting wrecked. They're getting into accidents.
Sprinters.
Sprinters. There you go. Sprinter vans. There's a lot of them out there getting wrecks. And I mean, I clearly don't think they do enough to vet them. I really don't. I know this. I mean, as long as you do the bare minimum for qualifications, I'll hand you the keys or issue the certificate or whatever they do. I've never been through it. But it seems like they're way too liberal with that. They really do need to tighten things up.
So
let me get to Thumper. I think
it's the appearance. Okay, later.
Yeah. No, I'm going to keep you on. I'm going to bring Thumper up. Thumper, when it comes to having a small, less than 10 truck carrier business in the insurance game, how does this story I've brought to your attention kind of make you look at that? You, on a routine basis, have to go through, congressional hoops, basically, to get your insurance ducks in a row. And here somebody like this can just simply, shop around, as it were, for contractors, and look what happens.
Well, first of all, when you lease on to somebody, and I think you kind of know how this works, boss man, because you're kind of going through it. All you need is bobtail insurance. The carrier that you're running DOT number for, they supply the cargo insurance. At least the companies that I've dealt with have.
Well, where the companies are concerned, yes. But in order to secure bobtail, if you have an MVR that displays you're a poor driver or have poor skills, they will turn you down for that bobtail.
Well, yes, but I'm going to call out an insurance company. There is an insurance company out there that will insure anybody. It doesn't matter. You could have a DUI, you could have whatever on your driving record, and they will insure you. And it's, well, I'm not going to say.
Don't call it. Yeah, don't call out the name, because I'm
not going to say out the name, but it's the same insurance company that you could get for your car. They're a big insurance company, and so they allow that they'll insure anybody. I've been dealing with this for the last 2 years, so I will admit I had a couple drivers that kind of wrecked a few things on my my DOT number, and I had to shop around for insurance, and that's how I know all this stuff. Right. Now, and to answer your question earlier, those Sprinter vans, all you need is a standard driver's license to drive them. You don't need a commercial driver's license to run them. Okay. So that's why there's so many.
Well, no, we know they're just commercial vehicle. But they're regular past the license, because they're not weight class.
Not 2,000 or 26,001 pound.
Right,
exactly. Is what it is. So if you're 26,000 pounds, you use the regular driver's license. If you need 26,001 pound, you need at least a Class B.
Yep.
So
yeah,
and those things, it does. The big corporations like Amazon and everything, they look at those delivery and us truckers the same. They don't care. We haul freight. They are freight haulers too, but they just do the local deliveries from house to house.
Right.
But they still haul freight. So, and when you called on me earlier, I was sitting here screaming at you, and I forgot to unmute my phone.
that's fine. Hey, it's TV. Live things happen, and we run into problems every so often. So,
but it's there's going to be people out there, well, you can't compare apples to oranges and stuff. Well, those big corporations, they compare us truckers to those local delivery people. They consider them the same as us.
So Thumper, you hating on my friend Flo and the General? Come on now, man.
No, I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just stating the facts.
Well, like a good neighbor, your friend might be there.
Leave it to you to bring that one in. That was good, Grumpy. I'll give you credit there. That was good indeed. All right, let me scan the comments here because we've gotten a few in. If my computer will cooperate with me here. One we got right there. Sasspress says, "This is ridiculous. It should have been put in their system to do. You have him as a do not hire." Yeah, I agree totally there, Sasspress. We get, she corrected her there. Trucking is dead. Hires drivers. I thank you for joining us tonight. Like I said, guys, if you've got something you want to add to the mix, you want to be directly involved, you can hit the StreamYard link or you can call us 860-785-3547. Would love to hear your take on this whole thing. So definitely give us a call, get involved. What's the topic? Topic is about, obviously, the Amazon setup. We've gotten a news story that we played earlier about delivery drivers. I mean, I'll replay it here shortly, but basically, in a nutshell, the story classified, in my mind, all drivers with Amazon the same way, because Amazon doesn't directly hire anybody, okay? The problem we run into is Amazon has subcontractors. And with these subcontractors comes the awesome responsibility of making sure that you hire on, anybody that works under you has to meet certain standards, at least with most carriers I work with. And I think that is what's missing here, because one company hired a fellow that was turned down by Amazon and wound up massing a huge amount of violations to the tune north of 70 of them. And eventually one of the latter violations wound up killing someone. Someone lost their life because a very person that tried to hire on directly with Amazon and was denied went to another carrier that was capable of doing subcontracting work with Amazon. And I've not followed up to see whether that carrier was terminated. But if you're clearly demonstrating to a major shipper or customer that you can't vet properly, you should not be in business, because reputation's everything. I mean, I don't care who you work for. If you display or show that you have a poor attitude or reputation or just the knowledge that you can't handle what it is you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. Look for something else. To me, that makes the most sense. Now, bear with me, people. I'm looking at small screens, so go ahead, Grumpy. Go ahead.
I was hoping to get some footage to you that I'd received of one of them there Amazon drivers, actually in a big truck, cruising down the highway. And I thought for a little bit that one of the doors was missing off of it, but actually the door is still there. It's just it wasn't latched. So if that's not an accident waiting to happen, I don't know what it would be. But I sent the footage to you that I received, but I just don't think you're going to have time to show any of it. It's kind of interesting.
Well, how did you send it again? You send it to my cell phone?
Yes. If you're able to get it and show it, that'd be wonderful.
Let me see if I can see it, because.
So, okay, I'm gonna point something out here, and I'm probably gonna get yelled at in the comments, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So you sit there and look at like 5-10 years ago. Who was everybody like? Well, it's still even in the trucking world, it's still joked about. What do we say? Don't do a Swiftie, right?
Right.
Well, that's kind of your caption there. Well, I'm gonna point something out here. They have so many trucks and so many trailers on the road. When an accident happens, that's all you hear about. When you get a small company that pulls a blank trailer and say they have like 13 accidents in a month, you don't hear about that because they're not a big name. So you got.
I'm going to add to that.
You got. Hold on, let me finish here. So you got to put it into factor. There's a lot of trucks, there's a lot of trailers out there, so they got the big name. When the guy, killed someone. I understand that situation, but I'm just pointing out that they're a big company, they're a big carrier. There are good drivers in those carriers. Not all of them. You can't judge one company for a bad thing that one person did. That's kind of what I wanted to point out.
Well, you know what happens is is a lot of photos and pics and stuff through the years, because this is how back when I first started driving. Of course, you all know, 25 years almost under my belt. When I went to school, we didn't have all these wonderful, you know, highfalutin cameras and stuff so we could take video. So we had Polaroids. Well, my school that I went to, actually, the instructor was a highway patrol here in Oklahoma for years and years and years before he became an instructor and everything. He took a lot of photos, and you would never guess the photo collection he had. I'll give you one hint. They're the same color of the barrels that you see on the highway. And let me tell you, they were the big number back in my day. And that would be Snyder. So, you know, back then it was always teasing.
Yellow.
No, it was Snyder, because Snyder was always known as, you don't want to hit one of them barrels, because then a Snyder driver would hatch out of it, you know. So they had a bad reputation years ago before Swift became as big as it is now. It's just what happens is everybody starts picking at these big companies, because I believe myself, it's a money grab thing. You know what I mean? They're seeing, oh, well, we'll show this guy messing up, because that company's big. We might make a payday if we get involved with that company getting an accident or something. And that's how I see it. But I could be wrong.
Okay, now I've got it queued up. I'm going to have to do it on screen share, so give me a second here.
Okay.
I've only got the first video, but I see the one you're talking about, because as you guys were talking, I was trying to key it up here.
That's cool. I'm just glad you're able to key it up.
Yeah, I don't think there's, I've got the audio muted, so, you know.
Oh, there's no audio to it anyhow.
Well, I always do it with unknown videos, because I usually do this stuff in advance, so.
Yeah, and like I said, I apologize. I tried to get it to you sooner, but it was my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's live television. What do you want? Share screen. Let me see what it looks like. Okay, here we go. Now, let me look back at this screen to see. It's okay, everybody. Okay, Grumpy, you narrate. You tell us what we're looking at here.
Basically, the driver comes up and he notices what looks like the door is missing. And as the driver's getting closer, he starts noticing the door swinging, and it was swinging outwards. And the driver that took the footage told me straight up, look, that door is there. I just didn't get the whole video because some of it cut out on him while he was recording it. And actually, he got it real good here, because if you was able to zoom in on it, which I don't think you can actually see the door swing back and forth as he's going by that old truck.
I can clearly see it. It's there. It's swinging. But that's just pure carelessness right there.
Yeah, and that's an Amazon.
Yeah. That is pure carelessness right there. And that's the kind of people we're hiring today. We got another one in the house. Boom. Fate Trucking is with us. God bless you, my friends.
Boom. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we all doing tonight?
We are fantastic.
So I got a question.
Finger deep in a trailer right now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Fate. What's your question?
Can I joke around tonight?
Sure.
I can't tell you no.
I already did, so come on, man. Bring it on.
All right. This show is about making trucking great again, correct?
Yeah.
All right. How about we start out by this? Let's train people how to disconnect a fifth wheel. To disconnect the fifth wheel. Let's start there, and we'll grow from there. That's how we make trucking great again. Make sure you know how to operate your fifth wheel unlocked.
If driving with John is watching, I want him to witness the following actions. Okay, watch closely, John. Watch closely. This is how you handle that. I want you to take note. Anyway, I'm joking.
Nice. So,
hey, Fate. thing is teach them how to lock up the fifth wheel.
That too. I agree with that. Hey, I'm going to run back inside because it's really cold here. So I hope you all have a good night.
Yeah, you
God
too,
bless
buddy.
you, Faye.
You too,
I'm
Faye.
All right, later, guys.
God bless you, man. That's cool.
I was keeping that one, holding it back.
That's going to be a running joke for a while. No, well, I mean, you know, if you can't laugh about it, what are you going to do, right? I mean, that's
I know,
that's
right?
the best way to get it done. Let me see. All right, so I'm trying to catch up on comments, guys. Bear with me, please.
No, we will not.
Yeah, tough. You'll have to deal with it. There's where I'm caught up. All right, Truckin is dead. Left, so call him out. That's where I was last. Sassafras, I believe the person that hired him should have their job terminated. Well, it kind of goes part and parcel of what I was saying earlier, that third party subcontractor, they should lose that contract. That is plainly and obviously what needs to happen. That subcontractor has demonstrated clearly that they're incapable of the responsibility of maintaining a safe fleet. So I don't know how many trucks they have. I think they're over 100. They're not a large one, but they're not a small one either. But that's, I think, tragically what needs to happen. Truckin is dead. Basically, they hire trash contractors that no one else will work with. I would say that more or less for the sprint vans, because those really don't need a whole lot of qualifications. This is probably the easiest job in the world you can get. But I agree with you, Truckin is dead. Good point. Sassafras, yes, we know. Grumpy, you tell us every live. What's she talking about? Probably the comment you made earlier, I guess.
That he's the greatest.
25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Fate's not. Fate ain't behind you now. Don't underestimate him now.
No, Fate's actually ahead of me, but not
but
far.
But he'll never admit he's the greatest truck driver out there.
No, he won't.
Go ahead, Paul.
So my question here is, if Amazon will not take the responsibility of safety because they keep hiring the substandard third-party contractors, why do they even have a running rates?
Amazon don't need them. Amazon does. See, Amazon is a shipper. They're not in the business of transportation. They don't care about transportation. They assume no liability. And the perfect evidence of that statement I just made lies in this B-roll clip. Let me run it so that those others who did not join us earlier can see exactly why it is Amazon takes that laxy approach that they always do. Watch this, guys.
Couple is furious with Amazon after a delivery driver slammed into their carport.
Okay.
Oof.
Okay, so video shows the truck causing serious damage, but would you believe Amazon rejected the couple's insurance claim for repairs?
Driver admitted to police that she was distracted. You think? When the towing company arrived, they realized that the only way out was the way the truck came in. Look at this. So they let the air out of the tires to gain clearance. How'd that go? Not so good. The couple says the estimated repairs are over $30,000, but even with the overwhelming evidence, Amazon rejected the claim because it did not make the delivery. In fact, Amazon doesn't own any of the delivery trucks that come to your door.
Now, did you notice one thing in there that pretty much everybody may or could have missed? And it's simply one thing. Amazon, if they don't make the delivery, they don't have to assume liability for a damn thing. In that case, $30,000 worth of damage. Because they got hemmed up dealing with the damage, they did not deliver the package. Amazon was off the hook.
That's crazy.
How about that?
And
That's crazy.
something else I was noticing on there is that I would not call it distracted driving myself. I would call that a driver that does not understand height limits. And knowing, if she would have known this stuff, she probably would have known not to go underneath that.
I will say this much. You can't completely blame the height limit thing. I don't know how Amazon drivers do their job, but I do know this. If I were in a vehicle and I were approaching a hill like that with an overhang of any kind, I'm going to do it very carefully. I'm going to look first for signs, and I'm going to look for context clues that tell me I'm not going to make it. But B, I'm going to stop and ask questions, especially if it's on somebody else's property. I'm not just going to hightail it through no, I'm not. And lastly, I'm not going to be on my damn cell phone when I'm doing it either. Okay.
But that's you and Grumpy and me, Dumper.
Right.
Most four-wheeler operators, quote, operators, unquote.
Right.
They don't look up.
Yeah.
They look
Most
straight
don't.
ahead. They look straight ahead.
They're just, most of them are thinking so far ahead of their car, they're not concerned about what they're doing. They're thinking about their next load, next delivery, next run.
No.
Most of them do.
I consider those delivery drivers as a four-wheeler driver.
Right. I get what you're saying. I'm agreeing with you.
No different than the 80-year-old lady next door to you.
You're right. Well, what I'm saying, though, is most of those Sprinter vans and those deliveries, even if they're four-wheelers or whatever, most of those guys are on such a tight schedule. They're not thinking about their situation at the time. What they're thinking about is the next delivery, the next address, the next move on the chessboard. They're not paying attention to the here and now. They all do it, and they're all warned against it, too. But that's what goes on. Because you have so many stops, you have so many things, you're set to a production schedule, and if you don't meet it, you're canned. So
I'm just kind of curious why she was going in the backyard to begin with. What was the need to go back there?
Well, now parts of the video I did not play. Here's how that wound up. Okay, most delivery drivers, the lady that was interviewed that owns the home, most delivery drivers will stop on the hill before the carport, deliver the package back down. Most of them with those Sprinter vans, they already know if they're regular drivers, and the woman even said, they know they won't make it. They'll stop before the hill gets to the carport and then deliver the package and leave. This particular one didn't even look at it, was busy looking at her phone and admitted to such when questioned. By the time she got onto the carport and realized, and you even see it in the video, by the time she gets in the carport and realizes, oh shit, I screwed up, it became obvious that she had no choice. She had to continue forward, because she stopped. You'll watch it. She stopped the truck, realized, oh crap, this is where I'm at, and then attempted to back up. And then boom, she hit the ridge. She'd already gone under. She could not back up or she'd rip it down. So she couldn't do anything but go forward, So I mean, it was on her at that point, at that point she was already committed.
Now, I'm going digging deeper here, only because I saw it and I was curious myself.
Mm-hmm.
I understand whenever you do move something that it can cause structural damage, as far as like with concrete and stuff like that. But with what I saw on that video, how do they know that Amazon's the one that broke the concrete like that? But I'm not taking up for them either. It's just kind of curious. The news media kind of threw that one out there for some crazy reason.
No, the news media told the story, because actually what that news clip is an Ask Harry segment. Now, most of these local news feeds all fight for the consumers. They have a segment on each of theirs where there's an investigative reporter that goes out and looks at scams, fraud. This show, this particular news clip I played for you is identical to that kind of thing in that local area, that Ask Harry segment, and that's where that was featured on. And it caught my eye because it was relevant to the story we're talking about with Elanya Velez. It was once again a description and a picture of a third-party contractor or a subcontractor for Amazon that didn't measure up. They didn't do their diligence to put through the claim, onto the claim, because of that whole delivery thing. And I felt like it perfectly describes it. Whether you're talking about four-wheelers or whether you're talking about the crazy, Sena Cola guy that killed Elanya Velez, they're all the same. It's the same thing.
Right.
There's subcontractors, and these subcontractors, if they want to keep this big business, they need to take this stuff seriously. They need to hire better, vet better, and take it seriously. Everybody makes mistakes. We've all made. Everybody on this panel's made mistakes.
Well,
everybody watching this live feed, we've all made mistakes.
Something that I was told, I'm not 100% sure on this, but like they're 53-foot big truck trailers that like we haul. Mm-hmm. We don't haul them, but I mean, Amazon's big trailers. Amazon actually owns the trailer itself. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if they insure only their freight and that's it with it, but they actually own the trailer itself from what I was told. But the drivers that haul it are contractors. So
that's where the bobtail insurance, the people who own the trailer cover the cargo insurance.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
To answer Truckin is dead, I want to just clearly and demonstrate that small clip we watched with the Sprinter van was a separate story, just so you're aware of this. The story that we're talking about is featuring a 53-foot trailer that was driven by a subcontractor. Okay, I'm trying to pull it up because I'm all over my screens. A subcontractor, and I'm not going to give the contractor's name, but the driver was a gentleman by the name of Sanatola. I'm trying to scan back. Yeah, anyway, so he was a subcontractor using a CDL, operating a 53-foot, a regular truck like everybody on this panel does, and a 53-foot trailer. He was on his way to pick up a load. So my reading of the story says he had an empty trailer. He was heading back to the fulfillment center, switching empty for loaded. So that's when the accident occurred. He was on his cell phone and apparently ran Elanya Velez off the road without realizing he did it. And that's the crux of the story that we're talking about. Okay, so the central story is a CDL driver killing a four-wheel drive. Now, the ironic part is Elanya Velez, the girl that lost her life, she was an employee at the fulfillment center he was heading to. I mean, that is irony at work. I'm sorry. I mean, the lady clearly did not need to lose her life, and my heart goes out to the family. This happened back in 22, so it's a couple years old. So
the sad part is, you said that accident happened down in Texas, correct?
Texas Highway, that's correct.
Well, the footage that I had shared with you that was sent to me is actually down in Texas as well, because that person had told me this. So, now, scary thought, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, and it just goes to demonstrate, maybe hey, put in the comments, those watching, do you think it's a state issue? Do you think it's a federal issue? I mean, I'm not fond of the whole we need more regulations, but clearly something's missing here. If these 3PL contractors can work for a large fulfillment center or a large company like Amazon, skirt the system and go out and kill people, what needs to change? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear. Thumper, I mean, what do you think? Do you think there's something missing, or, I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Shoot, hold on a sec. Try not to fall off the ladder.
Don't, please don't. But we don't want to use your occupational health for that one.
Yeah, no, I'm fixing lights on a trailer right at the moment too. So, Okay, what were you asking?
I mean, clearly there's cracks in the system. Grumpy and I just got done talking about mainly, the video he
Poet,
showed.
can you
and the
mute
video I
yourself,
showed.
please?
Yeah, the video he showed and the video I showed clearly demonstrates there's a kink in the system. So I raised the possibility: is it possible that it's a state issue? Maybe do we need something else at play here? I mean, if people can get in that easy with a large company like that, even though they've got a arm's length record, something's got to give.
It's not a state issue.
Oh, I know
It's
that.
just
You know that.
it is not. It's not a state issue. It's the employer issue.
Yeah.
All people care about, especially these bigger companies,
Mm-hmm.
all they care about, you're just a number. They don't give a crap. They're self-insured. They don't have it, they're what I mean by self-insured, you got Amazon, Swift, Schneider, all these other big companies like that. They don't have insurance like you and I do going down the road. Their insurance is what they make. They pay for their own,
But think about it though. Amazon isn't in the transportation game. They don't directly hire anybody to drive their trucks. They use strictly subcontractors.
Yeah.
UPS, FedEx, Amazon. I mean, all those companies, they're that large. They subcontract everything.
What I'm getting at is if they have a pulse and can pass a background check, that's all they care about.
Right.
That's the reality of the world.
But the other reality too is I worry, okay? If I have one speeding ticket, I worry that's going to disqualify me for working for anybody. If I have one accident, I worry about how it will affect my ability to be hired by anyone.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
No,
go ahead, Paul.
I'll be
Go
back.
ahead.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
Oh, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'll be backstage.
All right, that's fine. I worry every time it's brought up that something could happen. I worry about its effect on my record. I don't worry about the carrier. I mean, frankly, don't misunderstand my statement. I do, but I worry about me first.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna stop you.
Yeah.
Because you and I are just going round and round in circles. I mean, we agree, but we disagree. If that makes sense.
True.
So
yes.
let me reword my answer.
Okay.
And this is something I've been yelling about for the last 2 months. So you should know what I'm about to say. Train the fucking people right. Sorry. Train them right. Train them right. Get a skill. Don't just jump in a truck and drive and do all this. Get a skill, specialize in it, make more money. End of story.
Yeah.
Well, to add to that,
Okay, live's over with. We can all go home now. I wish the God was that simple. I really do. Go ahead, Grumpy.
What's that?
Yeah. To add to that, as you were just talking about, Thumper, the training thing.
Hold on. What did you say, Boss Man? I didn't hear what Boss Man said. Sorry.
I said I wish it were that simple. Though I agree with you.
No,
I wish
it is that simple.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, companies, corporate companies, I'm calling you out. Take the stick out of your ass and train people.
Yeah. But your version of training and mine may differ. Honestly, don't you think that same problem exists with the major carriers?
Oh, I'm sure it does, but they don't need to be idiots about it. I mean, if they don't think the person's going to make it, okay, move to the next person. Simple as that.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion.
Sure. Probably sensible.
Are you done yet, Thumper?
No, I got a lot more, but I'm done for now.
Okay, now I'll try to speak. All right. As you know, many years behind my belt, I've been a trainer at another company I worked for in the past. This company that I currently work for, which I will not name their name as well as I always do, but I have offered to be a trainer for them so that way they could get a lot of these guys that come in more experience, because actually they only require, I think it's a year and 6 months of driving experience. Doesn't say they have to be, out on the road driving with another company, really. I mean, obviously they would be, but I've noticed a lot of these guys that are coming in don't stay long because they wind up messing up. They mess up our equipment, then I go by and I find this equipment and I'm having to have it repaired, which dings me, causes me not to get miles, causes me not to make enough money, and it's ridiculous. Yes, I communicate as much as possible with my safety department as well as others so we can try to get this taken care of. It has tremendously came down quite a bit. And now they are starting to enforce that if you don't do these pre-trips and post-trips, then sayonara, go find another job because we're just not going to tolerate you anymore.
Well, and you know what? That was a long time coming because I'll bet your company is a lot better off now for that. And you know,
I believe we're going to be.
I think a lot more companies need to do that because I've been friends with you for a while, and I'll tell you something. That's something I watched you go through, and that is just, I mean, costly, expensive, and very, very aggravating. And if people could do more of that on the training side, like you started this whole comment you talked about, imagine how much better the industry would be. And it's something you did very easily, you and the company that you work for, and you guys don't have but so many. I mean, you're not a large carrier, but you're small enough. You know, you're small enough. You can basically prove it's easy to do. You know, your company can. And
we're small enough that it can be handled pretty easily.
can be. Truckin is Dead says he was referring to Fate's fifth wheel comment thing. Fate, watch. You made waves, okay? You made waves. That's all I'm saying. Griff USMC. Hey, everybody. The driver has his feet on the dash. You talking about that Amazon driver?
Hold up. I'm sorry. Yes, I hate it as much as the next person. But you know what? If that's how they're comfortable to drive and that gets them down the road, and as long as they're being safe with it, leave it alone.
But do you know how much people pick on that stuff?
I understand that, but I'm going to tell you this right now.
No,
I drive my truck with no shoes on. You going to make fun of me about that? No, I have hardwood floor in my truck, and I'm comfortable that way.
Your feet stink. Now, Griff was just asking the question, though, and hey, maybe he was. I mean, I don't know if he's talking about the one with the door open or or whatever, but hey.
Yeah.
To me, I can't drive with my feet above my heart. I'm sorry. I'm just no.
And I'm the same way. I can't do it. But every once in a while I'll lift my foot, every once, when you're in a truck for so long, you gotta stretch a little bit. So I'll stretch my legs out, or I'll take my, like I said, I don't drive with shoes on because I have hardwood floor in my truck. But also at the same time, I also.
Oh, I think we lost him. We lost his audio, but all right, Thumper, figure it out. Trucking is dead. Trucking is unskilled labor, according to the U.S. government. Trucking is dead. You just triggered Fate, and he's not even here. We've gone this round before, and that man will come on here and tell you exactly what he thinks of that comment. Somehow I get the feeling you're trying to trigger him, or maybe you weren't on the live show when that was discussed. Griff will tell you. Griff tried doing that before. And I'm going to slightly take up for Fate on that comment. I'll agree with you. It's your comment is only half right. It's unskilled in the fact that not enough requirements are put there to keep things like this very news story we're talking about from happening. But we are not unskilled because we do have to very carefully and professionally manage what we do. We have to recertify. We do have to do certain tests, and we do have to have certain skills. You can't just get in never having done it before and succeed. Therefore, it's not unskilled. So in that respect, I disagree with that statement. But everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's what this show's about, and you are certainly entitled to yours as well. Feet on the dash is never safe. Yeah, that I will agree with. Okay, we triggered somebody else. Okay, so we make training longer. Let's say 6 months. How much will it cost, and who will pay for it? Well, if you train for something midlife, you wind up paying for it. So there's the answer to that question. And the ever impending question: what's necessary to keep everybody safe? So far in the U.S., we require roughly 160 hours worth of training to get your CDL. Well, I posed the question: what if that's not enough? What if putting more training hours on the requirement keeps an Amazon episode from happening? What would you say to that? If you're willing to put a comment in, put an answer to me for that. Meantime, I mean, anything we do now, the same way we've always done it, we're going to get the same results. Why not make the changes that are necessary to keep the Alanyas alive and to keep these people that I showed you earlier with a carport and a $30,000 bill that they don't deserve? So Griff comes in with a comment: in Canada, it's harder to be a hairdresser than as a truck driver. I don't know. I didn't think you lived in Canada, Griff, but okay. Maybe our Alberta friend will come back on back from backstage and clear that one up for you, but I got nothing to add to that. Great. Midlife says, great, double the price of trucking school. Instead of a 1-year commitment, they'll have to stay 2 years. No one's saying 1 year, 2 year. 160 hours is not 1 year, 2 year. All I'm saying is adequate training to the degree that you know what you're doing, and we can get rid of these people ruining everybody else's life. I don't know where you're getting the 1 year, 2 year, maybe unless you're talking about signing on a major mega carrier, which I don't say is the greatest way, because you're wrapping yourself up into a year and you may not like.
You know, with what midlife's trying to hint at, I don't care how long a person's in school itself. There again, they're only going to touch on what has to be learned.
Yeah, you're only going to lay the base.
You're a trainer. Your trainer,
right?
When you go to that carrier, is going to be the major learning right there.
Well, that's
and your trainer needs to know all this stuff.
Yeah, that's a whole different discussion we've had time over time. And I've always said, you know, not everybody should be trainers. Someone like yourself, you're an ideal trainer because you have a roundabout, you know, qualification of experience. You've done different things. You've been in it almost a quarter of a century, so you know what you're doing. You know, someone like myself, I could qualify because I've been in almost 14 years. So, I mean, I say, and I've said in other shows, 1,000,000 miles or more. I think you need, in order to adequately and properly train somebody, you need to at least have been out here at least a decade. And it takes average drivers a decade to get 1,000,000 miles. So that's my thought on that. You know, 160 hours only shows you basic stuff. You know, turn your signal lights on, watch for clearances, make a wider turn, basic, how to park, that kind of stuff. But to know the nuances of how to run a successful business or how to succeed in a certain place, you need somebody that's gotten enough experience. You don't just throw them with you know, somebody that's been on the road 2 months or whatever.
No.
Training the guy, you mean the guy in the bunk? Yeah. And we don't need any of that either.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I ended up getting a phone call and it cut me off. So
no, don't apologize. It's live TV. Shit happens.
Wow.
Debbie Jeffries, welcome to the show. New commenter. That van for Amazon doesn't require a CDL. Stupid, but not really comparable. Can't fix stupid. Oh, yes. We definitely agree with that.
Wait. You can't fix it, but you can eliminate it.
This is true. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try doing something a little different. I don't have my usual soundboard on. So if the caller is hard to hear, please let me know. We'll see what we can do about it. I will do my best. But we got Griff on the line, called our studio line. Welcome to the show, Griff.
We're in trouble now.
Hey, how you guys doing? Anyway, just to clear up what my statement was, I don't know if they changed it, but it only took 128 hours to get your CDL in Canada when it took 160 plus hours to get your hairdresser license.
Oh, is that what you were talking about? Okay. Yeah. Well, you didn't clarify all that, so I'm sorry, I misunderstood that.
I know. Yeah. So when I finished in that sentence stuff, I didn't think about it. So that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I'm glad. I mean, so go Go ahead, Grumpy.
To that, Griff, I will add, actually, there's a place up there that I was watching a video on that was undercover, and believe it or not, they're actually doing it a lot quicker. So you're talking like half that.
Are you talking about training school?
Yes, up in Canada. I was watching the actual video on it. It was an undercover sting, basically.
Hold on.
Okay, I know
Griff,
the video you're talking about. Go ahead, Thumper.
Griff, you said it took how long to do the CDL?
Well, I think within the last year, a couple of years, stuff that changed the law up there in certain provinces. I think Paul might be able to clear it up more since he lives up there. But they had reduced the time to get the CDL time. Like Boss Man was going on about 160 hours here in the States. You got to have that, at least that much for training wise.
I can tell you, Griff. I can tell
128 hours.
It's 130. And I know this because that very video that Grumpy was just referring to was a video about undercover sting operations in the province of Ontario. And that very school was busted because you need 90 hours worth of formal in-classroom training, which includes theory. And the investigator went undercover and found out that the only thing that they actually received was 45 hours or whatever the difference is of over the road driving and parking and all that kind of stuff. They did not get classroom and they did not get theory. And they were charged $4,500 for the school, but only received practically 60 hours, which in the province of Ontario, it's required that you get 130. So they shortcut the training, they shortcut the amount of money.
So now I have a question. What is the U.S.?
160.
Okay.
For the federal ELDT mandated hours.
Okay. So explain this to me then. And I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say how I know this person. I'm just going to say I know a person. All right.
Okay.
They've been driving truck. I mean, they're a farm kid, so they've been driving trucks since they were 16 years old. They just turned 21. They got their CDL. They went to the school, and in 2 weeks, he had his. In 2 weeks, he did the in-class stuff, which was like 4 hours long, and then he did a couple driving things. He literally has less than 15 hours tied up into this, went and took his test and passed it.
I will take that and I will raise that.
Go ahead,
you, I believe, or know who you're talking about. That person was under the category of what they call grandfathering clause, only because that person already had experience behind him and could prove it. And that's one reason why he didn't have to go through all the classes and all that. But he was still tested to make sure that he knew the basic knowledges, as well as taking the drive test to get the CDL.
Well, you probably don't know who I'm talking about, but
no, I don't really know, but that's just kind of how it is. I mean, and years ago, back whenever they started mandating CDLs as something you carried, they used to have what they call the chauffeurs, just a plain old chauffeurs. And
that was over a decade ago. That's been a while.
Yeah, that's been a while back. But if you had experience back then, you got grandfathered in. Well, same approach with this person. If it would happen within X amount of time before they changed the law to where now you actually have to go through a reputable legal school system here in the States in order to get a CDL. You can't just go and say, I want to take my test at the MVR or the DMV. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I like I said, the only reason why I'm not saying names because I'm not gonna get the person in trouble because we're live. But like I said, he's done all this stuff. He literally did less than, I would say, 15 hours. I don't know exactly what it was. I know this person very well, and shit, I forgot where I was going with this. I'm sorry.
It's on TV. We do it. We do it.
No,
Great.
I'm looking for something right now that is like really important, and I set it down, and I don't know what I did with it.
I multitask lousy too. Griff
and
wants
I
to say
bet
something.
you, and I bet you it's somewhere really simple.
Probably. Yeah. Go ahead,
What's up,
Griff.
Griff?
Well, the only thing I was going to say is, you're the young kid you're probably referring to probably has more experience than any of these drivers that are currently out on the road driving that have their CDLs that even go through the class stuff and everything. That's when, like, I don't know how long ago when there was an argument about hiring foreign drivers and stuff, and when I stated that there's examples where kids that are 18 years old that have more experience and know how to drive better on a truck and be safer about it than some of these drivers that are coming out of the driving school stuff, because he was actually taught properly stuff, and heck, he probably actually learned a lot of it on his own.
Well, a lot of those people have to be careful these days, because I'll tell you what, you can spare the rod and spoil the child only just so much. The problem you run into these days is if you fail to document everything you do, the problem you run into is that should something tragic happen, then you run into a problem of proving you have the qualifications to be in the vehicle to start with. And that by itself will run you into a host of issues you can't afford.
Yes, but the main issue is, and I'm sorry, we're starting. I apologize to all the audience because I'm starting to see a theme here. It always circles back to this for like the last month and a half when we've been doing our shows, especially
even though they're different stories. Go figure it out.
Yeah.
I purposely do different stories, and here we are.
Yeah, we always circle around to it. They give you your tools to get your CDL just to get you on the road. And I understand why the whole system was designed. It's there to inform you the proper way on how to drive the truck government-wise.
Yeah.
Now, it is up to you to get to finish the proper training to go get the proper training to know how to drive it in the real life situation. Now, this goes to the whole thing. I'm sorry. You could go on Facebook Marketplace. There's a website up here called Bizman Online where it's people like you and I selling stuff. You could go buy a Freightliner or a Volvo for under 10 grand, and a bank, if you got good credit, a bank is going to go give you a loan for it, and anybody under the sun can start a DOT number as long as you got the money to do it.
Thumper, are you looking at the screen? Can you see the screen right now?
I can.
Yeah, if you look at the screen, Midlife, I think, was commenting what you were saying earlier. He's saying CDLs. How many of them are we talking about? I have just one. Then he goes on to say, I have a level 1. Yeah. I don't know if he's picking on you or what.
Well, he's probably picking on me because normally I'm the cool collective one in the group, and tonight I'm just fired up.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but no, it's just, I'm sorry. It's just, and I'm not trying to be mean about the show or anything. It's just, we always circle back to this stuff, and I'm Midlife. I'm sorry. Well, we need more regulations, and
I think Griff is laughing at the comment I just flashed up. The last one he just left.
Which one?
Yeah, he had appointment stuff yesterday at level 1.
So yeah. Well, that was a joke. That is. I thought you were laughing at the "Can we buy a white Volvo with a red fender?" I thought you were laughing at that one.
But my point is the government.
You might be able to get 100,000 miles out of it.
What, the fender or the Volvo?
Both. Well, hold on. Let me rephrase that. You could probably get 2 miles out of the fender because the tires are shot and one's going to blow. You're going to go in the ditch, repair it, do a half-ass job on it, and throw it back on the road. And
Right. Yeah.
Duct tape and super glue.
Hey, that works great.
Yep. We need to give some Mother Trucker.
You do that.
Right. Yeah. We need to get something on here to get Mother Trucker to come on and comment. That whole duct tape thing. That was a hoot. I love that conversation.
But that's how it is nowadays. And then you get these people out there that I'm sorry. I mean, it's nice. I use it. A thing called DriveWise.
Mm.
That gives you a bypass. You know, if you put in there, and I've noticed it, is I use it a lot. 90% of the scales I go across, they bypass me.
Right. Well, if you have a good record, that speaks for you. If you have a piss poor record, it's going to hurt you.
I'm going to beg to differ on that one. And I'm not going into details. I'm going to say that is not true.
It should be, because
It
I
should
can tell
be,
you,
but it
if
isn't.
you have failed inspections, they're gonna pull you in more.
No, I'm gonna argue with you on that one, and I'm not saying how I know or anything like that, but
Well, you can let me know off the air. But
yeah, I will do that.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not going to publicize that either. But
well,
it should
but
be.
But the thing, but anyways, what I'm getting at is the thing is, it's so easy to go out and get a DOT number. You get these new people to go out there and they screw that DOT number out. You go online, spend an hour and a half filling everything out, send in the whatever money for the MC number. Boom, you got a DOT number. You're done.
Yep, exactly. Well, Griff,
Okay.
any last words before I hang you up, buddy?
No, not really stuff. Next time Fade's on stuff, ask him about when he had his accident stuff and it damaged the side of his international, about the driver stuff. He was driving for a carrier that had only been been in existence for 6 months, and
Oh, you're talking about the fellow that hit him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, what my example on that being is like, if you got the money, like Thumper was saying, you can go and get a new DOT number stuff and be back on the road stuff within like a week, if not 2 weeks stuff. Just
I thought they put a requirement that stopped that. I
No.
thought they put a stop to it.
Nope.
That doesn't mean they're enforcing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that could be true too. Yeah, no, I thought they were actually considering that.
It's just like it's a requirement knowing how to speak, at least speak or and read English a little bit stuff and everything.
Yeah.
Stuff. So it's like they don't even really enforce that. So
Okay,
it's like
we're over the hour, so don't get me started on that topic. We'll be a 3-hour show today.
Why not? Let's do it. I'm on a roll tonight. Let's do it.
I know you are. Yep, I know you are.
But well, you guys have a good evening and everything stuff, and stay dry wherever you're at if you're in the Midwest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
talk to you later,
far
guys.
up
Be
there.
safe.
God bless you. It's fair, Griff. I appreciate you calling.
See you, Griff. Thanks.
All right.
No problem.
Keep it
You guys
rolling,
be
my friend.
safe.
All right.
But no, do they need more regulations? I know Midlife's gonna chime in.
Mm-hmm. He's probably already chimed in 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Well,
he just said a comment here. I don't know.
Yeah. They decide if you're going to have to enter the scale based on an ISS score. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. I didn't know what they called it, but
yeah,
DriveWise
is not real dependable.
Yeah,
yes, it's helpful, but it's not
inspections-
real dependable.
Yeah, the more failed inspections you get, the more that score affects your. Yeah, so it's called the inspection selection system, and it's a score between 0 and 100. The lower, the better. There you go. Yep. So the higher.
Anyways.
Yeah.
No,
that's what I was referring to. Thank you, Midlife. I didn't know what it was.
It's so easy to go out there and just switch your DOT number and everything else, and it's just it's. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous how it does it. I actually used to. They finally shut their doors, and I'm not gonna say name of a company, but that's what they would do. Is they'd hire drivers. They didn't care. All you had a pulse and you could shift a truck. That's all they cared about.
Mm-hmm.
And they would get into accidents and this and that. They would collect insurance money off of everything because of the accidents, and then they would replace their trucks. They'd go buy another cheap one. Well, then their DOT number got wrecked, and then within, like Griff said, 2 to 3 weeks, they're running under a new DOT number, new company name.
Yeah.
It
honestly,
makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really honestly hope they get a handle on that, because I'll tell you that whole approach to allowing people to skirt rules that are in place for a reason really hits me hard. I don't, because I pride myself on being safe. I pride myself in showing off a good example for the industry. And the fact that people can actually find a loophole and get around that pisses me off. and I'm probably not alone in that. So, it is what it is. Grumpy, you got any last parting words?
Well, I'll just add to the factor of what Thumper was saying on that MCC number deal. Honestly, more vetting on that is what needs to happen. Enforcement and vetting.
Yep. I agree.
Other than that, I'll say this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Amen to that. What about you, Poet? What you got to say?
Grumpy, it's broke and it needs to be fixed.
You want to fan the flames after the man's gone away.
Yep,
Thumper, bring us in home, bro.
Yeah, good show. Sorry, I was fired up. I don't know why. I'm just in one of those moods tonight. But no, it was a good show. Hopefully you guys got a lot of information and everything out of it. Hey, Christmas is coming up. Hopefully all the truck drivers that are out there get to go home, spend time with their families. If you don't have any family, you know what? Be kind to another. Go spend Christmas or the holidays with somebody you don't know. Make a new friend. So it's been, like I said, great show tonight. Loved it. God bless the military, EMTs, firefighters, all the personnel out there, and you guys have a good one. We don't do it just for us and our families. We do it for you guys.
Amen on that. Well said, my friend. Well said indeed. I'm going to tell you what, guys. We come to you week after week. We have the passion and the drive to help make trucking great again. All we need is you at our front door. See us every Saturday at 7 o'clock, where we bring you the stories you need to help make trucking great again. Check out Driving with John, Fate Trucking, Larry the Trucker, Thumper, and Grumpy. All of them help make this show what it is. And remember, it's the trucks that make the deliveries, but it's you that make the difference. Until we get back on the road again, talking to you, make sure you do your part. Keep it real. Keep the faith. And by all means, keep it rolling.